Then submit the balance 90% fee and submit the visit dates. So the next step is pre-assessment stage. First was initial stage in which registration is there only. Then next stage is pre-assessment stage in which first one is apply, index, submit, fill and submit the pre-qualifier and the fees. If yes, then go for self-assessment report and submit the balance 90% fee. This is pre-assessment stage. Then comes once the visit dates are submitted, then comes the assessment stage. In assessment stage, NBA continues evaluation, constitutes evaluation team, and the evaluation team comes to the institute, evaluates all the facilities available, whatever documents are being submitted in the self-assessment report, whatever data is being submitted in the self-assessment report, all evaluation is done in this particular stage. And next is post-assessment stage. Now we are not concerned with this post-assessment stage because institute is nowhere involved in this post-assessment stage. If okay, now same thing is reflected here: pre-assessment stage, then assessment stage, and post-assessment stage. So step one, application for accreditation, submission of pre-qualifications we have discussed. In assessment stage, submission of self-assessment report and visiting team to the institution for accreditation. Now, if the conditions are satisfied, then in post-assessment stage, processing of evaluation and the report is being generated and it will be communicated to the institute. Now, the next is the fee structure. We had said
Hello.
initially the register.
Hello. Sorry to interrupt you, sir.
Yes,
Maybe your slide is not changing, sir.
is it changing now, sir?
No, no, sir. I think you are on slide number 3, sir.
Three only.
Thank you, sir.
Is it visible now?
No, sir. Now it is visible, sir. Thank you, sir.
So we were here discussing the flow chart for accreditation process, and these are the stages of accreditation: pre-assessment, then assessment, and post-assessment stage. So first one, as discussed, application, then pre-qualifiers, submission of pre-qualifiers with 10% fee, assessment stage, submission of self-assessment report, then visiting teams, and the last one is post-assessment, in which processing of evaluation report is done. So this is the flow chart, which I think was not visible to you previously. You can just go through it quickly. The fee structure access applicable from time to time during the registration process. Then for accreditation fee, there are two types based on the types of institutes. So here the first A part is processing fee to be paid by institution for NBA accreditation for any program except engineering diploma. Except engineering diploma means engineering, degree, pharmacy, MBA. So for these programs, here the fee, processing fee is being mentioned. If number of programs, one, it is 2 lakh plus taxes, two, 4 lakh, and so on. And first, next B part, processing fee to be paid by the institutions for MBA for engineering diploma programs. So here some variation is there. For one, it is 2, for two programs, it is 3.5, and so on, plus taxes. And among this particular fee, 10% is to be paid during the pre-qualification stage. Remaining 90% is to be paid after satisfying the pre-qualification. 90%. So hope this fee structure, stages of accreditation are clear. Then Different terminologies used in the accreditation process. So as a faculty, we are aware of these particular terms. So what is a vision of an institute? What is a mission of a particular institute? Then what are PEOs, program educational objectives? Then what are course outcomes? Then what do you mean by assessment? What is evaluation? Difference between evaluation and assessment. And next, what is mapping? So all these terms are required frequently when the term accreditation, when the process accreditation is to be followed. So initially, vision of an institute or vision of a particular program. Program here means a department. So what actually a vision is? So in general, it is a futuristic statement that institute would like to achieve over a long period of time. So any institute, any program, any department has its futuristic statement, what it would like to achieve over a period of time. So as an example, you can see here, vision of institute is to create high quality technicians, high quality technocrats, you can see. This is the vision of an institute. Example, this is an example. So institute or a program, you can see, which you should want to achieve over a period of time. Now, to achieve this particular vision, this is futuristic statement which is to be achieved. And who is going to achieve? Same institute is going to achieve this particular vision. So to achieve this particular vision, what necessary steps, what necessary means are being provided by the institute? Those are called mission of the institute. So initially, vision is futuristic statement that institute would like to achieve, and mission are what the steps. These are necessary. These are the statements rather, which are essentially the means. These are the means which are provided to achieve the vision of the institute. So, for example, initially vision of institute was to create high quality technocrats or technicians. You can say this was the vision. Vision. Now, to achieve this particular vision, what means are being provided by the particular institute, or what means are being provided, so those will come under the mission. So for same statement, the mission could be offer a well balanced program of instruction, practical experience, and opportunities for overall personality development. Achieve vision are called mission, and rather these are statements. Mission statements are M1, M2, M3. So M1 in this opportunities for overall personality development. So these are or of an institute. This part is clear. If not, you can just raise for any query. Okay. Then next. So initially vision mission of a department, that is a particular program, for example, mechanical program. This program is preparing something, preparing the graduates for what? To achieve something. To achieve what? To achieve the particular objective. And that is the career and professional accomplishments which a graduate should have. So all these are reflected in program educational objectives, PEOs. These are broad statements that describes the career and professional accomplishments, PEOs, educational objectives. The next part is course outcomes. So initially somewhere we have discussed course outcomes. So course outcome for any particular course. Now course here is a subject, any particular course, subject. So these are narrow statements, small statements that describes what the students are expected to know and able to do at the end of course, at the end of each course. That means fluid mechanics, example. In fluid mechanics, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 course outcomes are there. So course outcome number 1, on completing this particular course, on completing this particular topic, what students should be able to know? What is expected from the students to know? So this is course outcome. Likewise, for particular course 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on, course outcomes will be there. The next is assessment. Now, initially we said assessment and evaluation. These two are different. Assessment process here, this means what? Is to identify, collect, prepare data. Assessment is identifying, collecting, and preparing the data. And further, whatever this data is being collected, identified, and prepared is being assessed. And that particular process is evaluation. So evaluation is one or more process done by the evaluation team for interpreting the data and evidence accumulated through assessment practices. Hope it is clear what is assessment and what is evaluation. Assessment here is different processes carried out the institution, carried out by the institution, by the program, by the department. And that is to collect, prepare, and further processing for interpreting the data and evidence is called evaluation. The next is mapping. Now mapping here is nothing but correlation among the parameters. Correlation among the parameters. As an example, department, mission statement is there of the department. And also a particular program or department has program educational objectives, PEOs. What is the vision and mission? So for example, you can see stated. First one is offer a well-balanced program of instruction. And second is provide practical experience and opportunities for overall personality development. Okay, so these are two statements, M1 and M2, and vision statement. Now, your program educational objectives, whatever are being defined, these program educational objectives should be in line with your mission and vision statement. Should be in line with your mission and vision statement. So in line means whatever we want, futuristic statement we have defined, whatever means we have provided, those means and that particular statement, whether these are in line with your program educational objectives. So this process is done by mapping. So mapping is process of representing preferably in a matrix form. This is a correlation, developing a correlation among different parameters. So faculties might have done this mapping process. So for mapping process, different statements are required. So different statements here means you can say mapping of one statement to one statement. Or you can say mapping of one statement to many statements. Or rather you can say in reverse way, mapping of different statements to one statement. So this is developing a correlation among different parameters. This is nothing but mapping process. So if you go for a particular example in mapping, it will be more clear for you as far as mapping is concerned. Next, what are program outcomes? So here we have discussed what are course outcomes. So a subject, any subject, strength of material. For strength of materials, different course outcomes are there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 course outcomes are there for a particular subject, SOM. Now this course outcomes, whatever are been defined, this course outcomes should satisfy the program outcomes. Now basic thing here to remember is program here means a department. Program means a department. Mechanical. So mechanical program. So on completing this mechanical program, what students should able to know? What is expected to know on completing this particular program? Graduation, post-graduation, whatever it is. What is expected to know? Now this what is expected will be in terms of skills, knowledge, analytical ability, attitude, behavior. Expected to know and able to do upon graduating. Upon graduating means completing a program. So these skill sets are required. This is program outcome. Initially, we have discussed what is course outcome. Course means a subject. On completing subject, what students should able to know or should able to do. These are program. Next is, sorry, course. Next is program. Program means mechanical engineering, graduate program. On completing this program, what students should able to know or should able to do. And this should able to know and do will be counted in terms of skill, knowledge, analytical ability, attitude, and behavior. So hope this correlation is clear to you. What is CO, course outcome, and what is PO, program outcome. Course, subject, on completing subject, what one should know, and program, department, mechanical engineering, civil engineering, and so on. On completing the graduation process or your diploma process, what students should able to know or should able to do. Program outcome and course outcome. Now this particular POs, program outcomes, are being defined by NBA, National Board of Accreditation. And these POs are being defined in different forms for diploma colleges, for engineering colleges, for pharmacy colleges, or MBA colleges. So these POs are defined based on the stream. For diploma graduates, there are 7 POs being defined by NBA. For engineering programs, graduate programs, there are 12 POs being defined by NBA. For engineering, 12 are there, 1, 2. And for diploma, 7 POs are defined. So on completing a diploma course, students should able to know 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or should able to use this in practice. So these 7 are being defined by NBA for diploma colleges. Now to discuss with, first one is basic and discipline specific knowledge. So PO1. So here it is applied knowledge of basic mathematics, science, engineering fundamentals, and engineering specialization to solve engineering problems, to solve different engineering problems. So PO1, this is named as PO1. So it deals with basic of mathematics, science, and engineering. PO1. Second is problem analysis. Now PO1 deals with basic knowledge. PO2 comes to problem analysis. Now in this PO2, students should able to identify and analyze well-defined engineering problems using codified standard methods. So once the initial basic knowledge is there, then students should able to identify and analyze different engineering problems using the basic knowledge. Using basic knowledge. This is problem analysis part. Third one is design development of solutions. Now, if a student has a basic knowledge, if he is able to identify and analyze, then further step is to design and develop solutions. And this design and develop solutions for different technical problems. So this is PO number 3. Number 4 is engineering tools, experimentation and testing. Now this engineering graduate should be able to apply modern engineering tools and appropriate techniques to conduct standard tests and measurements. So this is PO number 4. So if we talk about any particular subject, a particular subject has course outcomes. Course outcome 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 5 course outcomes are there or 6 course outcomes are there for a particular subject. And On completing a particular program, graduate should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 program outcomes. So these two should be linked. Course outcome and program outcome should be linked. And the linking process is nothing but mapping. Linking process is mapping, developing a correlation between these two. So on developing this correlation, one will come to know that whatever POs are being defined by NBA and whatever program is being specified by the institute, whether these particular are in line. To what extent we are mapping our CO and PO. So next, number 4, engineering tools and experimentation and testing. This we have discussed. Number 5, engineering practices for society, sustainability and environment. Now engineering graduates should able to apply appropriate technology in context of society, sustainability, environmental ethical practices. So in your curriculum, first year, second year, third year, fourth year, whatever the year is, in a particular curriculum, whether the student, whether the graduate is able to apply this particular technology in context with society, sustainability, environment, and ethical practices. So when we talk about subject fluid mechanics, so in fluid mechanics, where environmental issues are there in your topic, in your syllabus, or in fluid mechanics where ethical practices are mentioned? Nowhere. Nowhere environmental and ethical practices are mentioned in this particular subject. That means this particular PO5 will not be achieved as far as the subject fluid mechanics is concerned. But to go for this particular issues, what engineering graduate should able to do. So PO number 5 cannot be achieved directly through the curriculum. Okay, so for that purpose, apart from curriculum, some other activities are to be carried out. For example, NSS is there. Extracurricular activities are there. So in NSS, a camp is to be laid at a particular location where ethical practices, environmental conditions are to be studied. So likewise, whatever curriculum is specified by the university, by the board, and whatever POs are being defined by the NBA to map this particular gap, whatever POs are not achieved for that particular purpose, different activities are to be conducted. That comes under PO number 5. Number 6, project management. So student, graduate should able to use this engineering management practice or principles individually or as a team member or a leader to manage projects and effectively communicate. That means project management, this particular PO number 6 will come into picture in final year projects, and seminar work, where student has to work in a group of 4, 5, whatever it is. So here, this particular PO6 will be mapped. Next, number 7 is lifelong learning. So ability to analyze individual needs and engage in updating in context of technological changes. So lifelong learning, this particular PO number 7, lifelong learning. So whenever a course is being completed, studied, how that particular course, contents of that particular course will be useful throughout. Throughout here is throughout your career. Lifelong here means career, throughout your engineering career. In what context that particular subject, knowledge of that subject is to be applicable throughout your career. So in that context, here this particular 7 number PO is being defined. For example, software. So any software if you learn, AutoCAD for example. So that particular software is being studied in second year, third year, whatever the curriculum is. Now, in your profession, you are a design engineer after completing your degree or diploma. So you are using that particular software in your career throughout. Whatever upgradations are there in that particular software, you should be able to engage yourself in those updations throughout the career. So that particular sort of part is there in a curriculum. So that will be taken care of by this lifelong learning PO number 7. So in all, these are 7 POs being defined by NBA for engineering diploma graduates. So purposefully I have taken this diploma graduate POs today. We are dealing with engineering degree programs. So with us, there are 12 POs being defined for engineering degree program. But for diploma program, 7 POs are being defined. And this particular POs and COs are to be mapped. Correlation is to be developed, and that is nothing but mapping process. After POs comes PSO, program specific outcomes. Now these POs, 7 POs are being defined by NBA, but not necessarily this particular 7 POs will take care of each and every activity, each and every part being specified in your curriculum. For example, diploma in mechanical engineering. Program is there. Curriculum is defined by the board, first year, second year, and third year. So total curriculum, first year, second year, third year, will not take care of all these particular 7 POs. It is not necessary. There may be some content in the syllabus that cannot be mapped with these 7 POs. So for that particular purpose, you can define your own program specific outcomes. So these are program specific outcomes expected to know or able to do on completing the program. It's okay. You can define up to 2 to 4 programs. These statements which are specific to particular program, and these are beyond POs. As I said, beyond POs. And the last part, program curriculum and other activities during program must help in achievement of PSOs along with POs. So as I said, your program, diploma in mechanical engineering, not necessarily will take care of all the 7 POs. There may be some contents which will not take care of this 7. So for that particular purpose, you need to define your own PSOs, program specific outcomes, maybe 2 to 4 for a particular program. So this is all about program outcomes and program specific outcomes. Then next is accreditation criteria. So for diploma level programs, there are 7 criteria at program level and 2 criteria at institute level. So criteria number 1 to 7 and marks for which they are being assigned. So in all, 875 marks are there for program level criteria, program specific you can say. And part B is institute specific. That means that will be common for the institute. So when we go for accreditation of a program, for example, accreditation of civil engineering. So civil engineering, civil department as a program need to submit the self-assessment report, and that will take care of 1 to 7 criteria at program level and 8 and 9 at institute level. And distribution of marks is criteria number 1 is vision, mission, program educational objectives. So somewhere in our discussion previously, we have discussed what is vision, what is mission, and program educational objectives. So for this particular part, criteria 1 is being defined, and that will carry a weightage of 50 marks, 50, in the accreditation process, in the assessment process. Now what this vision, mission, and program educational objective, this particular criteria contains. What is vision, what is mission, what is PEOs? That part, in short, we have discussed. But a criteria for 50 marks in which vision, mission, program, educational objectives, not only the statements are required, but along with vision, mission, and program educational objective statements, we also need to define the procedure how this particular vision and mission are formed for particular program. So for civil engineering program, vision and mission, how this vision and mission statement are formed. What was the involvement of stakeholders in forming this vision and mission statement? So that particular data is to be reflected in this particular criteria. The next part is whatever vision, mission and POs are being defined. Now whether this vision, mission, POs are being provided to the students, provided on different platforms to the students, maybe in your brochures, maybe on your college website, maybe in your laboratories. So how these mission vision statements are made available to students. Then next part in this criteria comes is how this mission vision and POs are in line with the institute level. For example, institute vision mission is provided and department vision mission is provided. So this department vision mission and institute vision mission mapping is required. Mapping is required. At what level they are mapped? So all this will be taken care of in criteria number 1, that is vision, mission and program educational objectives. Then next criteria number 2, that is program curriculum and teaching learning process. So here I do have, hope it is visible to you. Is it visible? Is the PDF visible?
No, sir.
PDF?
So I think the slide is struck on classification of institutions, sir.
Again there. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, is it visible now?
Yes,
PDF
sir.
is visible now?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Now it is visible, sir.
okay. So this was regarding criteria 1, this already we have discussed. Now criteria 2 is program curriculum and teaching learning process. This will be evaluated for 200 marks. 2.1 is program curriculum. Now program curriculum is whatever syllabus is being provided by your board. Take the process used to identify extent of compliance of board curriculum attainment of POs. So in this particular context, all POSO are being demonstrated. So POs and POs for a particular program. Now here, mapping compliance board curriculum. So whatever syllabus is being defined provided by the board, then whatever POs are provided by NBA, whatever POSOs are being defined by the program, so this particular should be in line, should be mapped properly. Then program specific outcomes mention the identified curricular gaps, if any. So this identified curricular gaps, as I said initially somewhere, whatever syllabus is being framed by the board, that particular syllabus for particular subject has course outcomes. All course outcomes of all the subjects are mapped with the program outcomes of NBA provided by NBA. Now, after mapping, you can notice that few of the program outcomes are not mapped at all at any level. Those particular program outcomes which are not mapped are not mapped. So that particular need to be mentioned in terms of curricular gaps. That means, for example, PO6, PO7 is not mapped. So PO6, 7 is to be mapped. For that purpose, what extracurricular activities, apart from your teaching learning, apart from your curriculum you're taking, that is to be identified. And that is your curricular gaps. This is to be defining criteria number 2, that is 2.1.1. Then 2.1.2 contain beyond syllabus. Same thing. Curricular gaps are being identified. Now, these gaps are identified. For that purpose, what extra activities you are conducting, which extra experiments you are conducting, which are not there in your syllabus, but which are available in your institute. So beyond syllabus, if you're conducting some experiments, for that purpose, for the purpose of mapping of particular POs, so that is contained beyond syllabus. And this is possible once the curricular gaps are being identified based on the mapping of the structure provided by the board syllabus and POs provided by NB. Then 2.2 is for 160 marks, and that is teaching learning process. Now discuss the process followed to ensure improved quality of teaching learning. So here everything is mentioned clearly in the process here. Adherence to academic calendar. So academic calendar is provided by the university, by the board. Then also we have academic calendar of the institute. We also have academic calendar of the department. So all these academic calendars should be in line with each other, and whatever activities are specified in academic calendar, those should be followed. So adherence to academic calendar. For example, our activities mentioned in academic calendar regarding expert lecture on XYZ. So that particular expert lecture, if it is conducted on same day, it is okay. If not conducted, then the reason why it is not conducted on same day should be there with the department. Next is use of various instructional planning and delivery methods, methodology to support weak students and encourage bad students. So here number C is more important, is first identification of this weak students and bright students. So in a class of 50 students or 60 students, whenever a course is being taught, subject is being taught. So it is necessary to identify weak students and bright students. So which procedure is being followed to identify these weak and bright students? Which process is being followed? How it is identified that a particular student is a weak student or a particular student is a bright student? So you need to define that particular methodology, the process, how the students are identified as weak and bright. And next part is what extra efforts are you taking for these weak students, and what facilities, extra facilities you are providing to these bright students. So both way it is to be defined. For weak students, what extra efforts you are taking, and for bright students, what extra facilities you are providing. Then D is quality of classroom, conduct of experiment, conduct assessment in laboratory, and the student feedback of teaching learning process. So all these activities are to be completed in this 2.1.1, which comes under teaching learning process. So likewise, criteria 2, 2.2.2, initiatives to improve quality of semester test and assignment, the process of internal semester question paper setting and evaluation, effective process implementation. Now here the process of internal semester question paper setting. So internal semester question paper which are being set, whether these question papers are based, setting is based on the Bloom's taxonomy, which level of Bloom's taxonomy the questions are being asked, whether it is mentioned in the question paper. Also, which CO, which course outcome takes care of the particular question, whether it is mentioned on the question paper. So this part is there in this particular 2.2.2. Whatever question papers are being set, course outcome should be mentioned. Also, the Bloom's taxonomy level 1 to 6 should be mentioned on the particular question and question paper. The next is process to ensure questions from outcomes learning level perspective Evidence of CO coverage in class test, mid test, same thing, whatever I've explained. In your class test and internal external, it should be mentioned which CO is being covered. Next is 2.2.3, quality of experiments. 2.2.4, quality of student projects and report writing. Now this is more important, project reports and report writing, it is for 35 marks. The evaluation is there for 35 marks. So in this particular final year projects are there for different streams. Now whatever methodology is followed in these projects, right from allotment of guide, how the guides are allotted to the students, then what is the selection procedure, how the topics are being finalized, everything, identification of projects, allocation methodology, types and relevance of projects in contributing PO, process of monitoring evaluation, then individual assessment, quality, and so on. So all this will carry for 35 marks. So a standard operating procedure, SOP, should be there for these projects, student projects. Right from beginning, how the projects are being allotted to students and to the final examination. Each and everything should be mentioned in your SOP. And according to SOP, all the process should be followed for student projects. Why? Because relevance of project is more important in mapping of POs. Why? Because POs take care of, these projects take care of POs and PSOs. Mapping is required for individual project of PO and PSO. Then reviews, project reviews are to be conducted in a semester, two in a semester. So based on the reviews, based on the documentation available of the reviews, evidence should be provided. This is all about 2.2.4. Then 2.2.5, industry interaction, community services. So if you are having industry supported labs, then industry visits, tours conducted for students, internship carried out, post-training internship, contribution to community-related project works, and so on. So this particular data is to be made available in this 2.2.5, which is for 30 marks. Now, MOUs may be there of institutes with the industries, and with the help of those MOUs, industry visits, in-plant trainings, or expert lectures may be arranged. So that particular part has more weightage or will be considered in this 2.2.5. Then next is information access facilities and student-centric learning activities, which is for 15 marks. Then 2.2.7, new initiatives for embedding professional skills. So what sort of core employability skill enhancement initiatives, programs are being conducted, personal development products are being conducted. Now while conducting these programs also, standard procedures to be followed. Whenever a program is being conducted, feedback is to be taken from the students, and feedback should be based on the outcomes. Whatever outcomes are being defined there for the particular process, whether those program outcomes are involved are achieved. So feedback is must for each and every activity being conducted, and feedback should include the POs, program outcomes. Which program, for which program outcome this particular activity is being conducted. Which program map, which program outcome maps for this particular activity being conducted. Likewise, 2.2.8, extracurricular activities, type of activities and relevance. Now this extracurricular activities also, this also contribute in achieving the POs, and for that purpose again here feedback is to be taken at the end of the course, at the end of the program, stating all the extracurricular activities and also the relevance of POs with this extracurricular activities. Then criteria 3 is CO and PO. So previously we have seen what is CO. So COs of all the programs, sorry, all the courses starting from first to final year are to be defined. Then COPO, COPSO matrix mapping is to be explained along the table form. Then next, course level. So for course, it is done CO mapping is done, COPO is done, COPS is done, then mapping to be verified, then program level. That means first year 10 subjects, second year 10 subjects as an example, third year 10 subjects. So program level means combining all this mapping COPO starting from first year to final year. So program level COPO, PSO matrix is developed. Then attainment. So whatever mapping is done, then attainment of courses 40 marks. So in attainment, again a standard procedure is to be followed. For that purpose, examination data is required, right from the first class test or internal test to the final class test, whether it is two per semester, three per semester, whatever the data is, based on the question papers available, based on the assessment done, pre-class test, pre-assignments, internal test, university exam or board exam. So all this data is to be collected in the form of examination data. Then a rubrics is to be applied. The rubrics here is, and to set the attainment level, some rubrics is to be applied based on last 3 years results or based on the standard specified by the particular board or your institute. You need to define some basic threshold values which are nothing but the rubrics. For example, in a class test 1 is conducted. For that class test 1, 50 students have appeared. Among those 50 students, 10 students have failed, 40 students have passed. Now you need to apply some rubrics. Now rubrics here means the threshold values to get the level 1, 2 or 3. So level 1 is low, level 2 is medium, level 3 is high. What sort of attainment is that for that particular CO? You need to define what percentage. For example, 80 percentage and above will be level number 1. That means 80 percentage of students in a particular examination scored more than the passing marks, then it is level 3. Then next is 70 to 79 level 2. That means if 70 to 79% in between somewhere the range is there of the students passing the subject, passing the particular test, then level 2 will come. Accordingly, level 3, 60 to 69 suppose. So in the class test 1, suppose student percentage passing is only 65%. That means 65% students have scored more than the passing percentage marks, then level 1 will be there. Accordingly, this attainment is being done based on the levels or threshold values being defined. The attainment of PO, PSO, and finally attainment of results of evaluation of PO, PSO. So in all 100. The next is student performance. Now in this criteria, students enrolled. Based on the enrollment ratio, the marks are being specified. If your admission is more than 90%, 20 marks will be there. Admission less than 50%, the 8 marks will be there. Otherwise, 0. So somewhere initially we said that you will not qualify if your admission are less than 50%. So above 50% here, the admission should be there. Then success rate in stipulated period. Now success rate here means if 50 students are being admitted, 60 students are being admitted in this particular year, then among those 60 students, how many students have completed their diploma in 3 consecutive years? That is what called success rate. So among those 60 students, suppose if only 10 students have completed their diploma throughout in 3 years, that means the success rate is calculated based on this particular formula provided. That is success rate in a particular period of time. Now this will be there in two forms. It will be there with backlog and without backlog, considering backlog and not considering the backlog. Then same thing is there for academic performance in first year. How many students have cleared all subjects in first year? And same thing in second year, and for which 25 and 20 marks are there. Then additional performance in final year, academic performance in final year. Then placement higher studies entrepreneurship. What is the percentage of students being placed and gone for higher studies? So here some matrices provided. The values are to be substituted based on the numbers available, and the marks are being calculated. Then professional activities done. 4.7.1 for 10 marks. Then publication of technical magazines, newsletters. Then participation inter-institute state level by the students. These are there for 5%. So next category is faculty information. So here it is for SFR 25 marks. Again the weightage is given here. If it is greater than 30, 0 marks. And less than between 20 to 25, it is 25 marks directly. Okay? Less than 25, 25 marks, and so on. Then faculty qualification index. How many PhDs are there? How many MEs are there? MTechs are there, and so on. Then faculty retention. Here, greater than 90%, greater than equal to you will get 20 out of 20 marks. Now, rotation means the faculty available 3 years. Faculty should be available in the department for 3 consecutive years or 2 consecutive years. Then, depending on the percentage calculations, you will get the values. Likewise, faculty participation in different activities, training activities, product development, consultancy being done, and faculty performance appraisal, 30 marks are there. Now, this faculty performance appraisal and development system is being defined by the institution. So, whichever factors are considered in this faculty appraisal pro forma or format, we should include all the activities being defined previously. Then category number 6, facilities and technical support. So whatever laboratories are available in the department, whether they are well equipped, classrooms available, then adequacy of the quality of lab or technical manpower available, additional facilities created for improving the quality of learning, 20 marks. Then laboratory maintenance, then availability of computing facility and language lab. Now laboratory for each and every laboratory, maintenance should be there, maintenance register should be there, consumable register should be there. And availability of computing facility in the department. So number of computers available, their specification, the software is available, the its utilization, language laboratory available for skill development at first year level. Then category number 7 is continuous improvement. Now this continuous improvement, this category number 7 is based on the COPO attainment. If your COPO attainment is poor in particular subjects or POs, for that purpose, what action you have taken? So that is for action taken based on results of evaluation of each PO and PSO. So if the person attainment is very less, for that particular purpose, what actions have you taken? Whether you have conducted extra lecture, whether visit is being conducted, whether extra projects are being assigned, whether extra assignments are being assigned, extra topics are being covered. So all this will come under the 7.1. Then 7.2 is improvement in success index of the students without backlog. So after conducting all these activities for next consecutive year, what sort of improvement is being done, being observed? And based on that, the 7.2 is defined. 7.3, improvement in placement in higher studies. Then improvement in academic performance in final year. This is all about 7.4. 7.5, internal academic audit and new facility created. Now, academic audit is being conducted or carried out by each department semester wise. So all the documentation and evidence available and whatever action plan, action taken based on the academic audit report is to be made necessary, available. This is all about institute specific 7 files. Then for common files, institute specific. So category number 8, student support system. So in which mentoring system to help an individual level, then feedback analysis to be carried out, feedback on facilities to be conducted, career guidance training placement cell, and entrepreneurship cell. So all this should be available at college level. So here mentoring system, student mentor mentoring system, evidences and data should be available. Frequently, meetings of mentees and mentors should be conducted. Evidence of those meetings should be available. Whatever doubts or whatever points are being raised by the students in this meeting, follow-up of this particular meeting record should be taken. And feedback analysis. Feedback analysis, feedback will be for curriculum, feedback will be for academics, feedback will be from alumni, from all the stakeholders. So all this feedback is to be collected and proper action, proper corrective measures are to be done on analyzing these feedbacks. and feedback on the facilities, as I said, then career guidance training placement. So whatever placement activities are conducted in last 3 academic years, proper record is to be maintained. Then lastly, if this cell is available, all documents related to which should be developed should be kept available. This is regarding 8. And the last criteria is governance, system support, and financial resources. Now, this is regarding the organization, governing transparency, vision mission of institute, governing body and to set up various bodies available. Then there are meetings, minutes of meetings are to be taken, and action taken reports are required. So whenever a GB, governing body meeting is there, be carried out per semester, then whatever minutes of meetings and action taken are to be revised in next meeting of GB. And documentation of this is required for this 9.1.2. Then decentralization in working of grievances. Whatever different committees are available at the institute, grievance redressal, then anti-ragging committee, then different committees are available. So documentation of all these committees available, then meetings conducted, then whatever evidences are there, those should be made available. Regarding 9.1.4, delegation of financial powers. Now, how the financial powers are delegated, utilization of financial powers, this is to be demonstrated here. 9.1.5, transparency and availability of correct and unambiguous information in public domain, your website. So all rules, policies should be highlighted on your college website for students, faculties, and all the stakeholders. Then budget allocation utilization. So whatever budget is being allocated, first initially a budget is to be forwarded by the department, by the lab in charge to the head of the department. Then the head of the department will compile the budget required for the department, including all the labs, including the research. That same will be forwarded to the head of the institution. Then head of institutions in its meeting will call all the head, principal will call all the heads, and budget allocation meeting will be there. After finalizing the budget, allocation will be done, and then again the budget will be utilized in proper order. So all this documentation should be provided with the evidences. Then utilization allocated funds, availability of audit statements, then department specific budget allocation, utilization of allocated funds. 9.3.2, internet and library facility available in the institutes. Then continuous institutional contribution to the community development, 5 marks, alumni performance connect, and connect 10 marks. So if alumni cell is available at the institute, how many alumni are there right from the inception, then what sort of data is available of the alumni, how many alumni meets are being conducted, what is the help of alumni is being provided in terms of placement, in terms of expert lectures, all the data is to be kept. Another one more thing is financial help if available from the alumni, that is to be recorded, and fund to this alumni association is to be mentioned. This is all about criteria number 9. So in short, we have discussed all the criteria. So this was regarding the total accreditation process from a diploma institution. So I can understand it was very short period of time to discuss all this, but I have tried to at least just focus on what are the basic requirements for accreditation, that is quality assurance program in engineering education. So that's it from my side. Over to you, sir. Tate, sir.
Is any questions, participant?
Yes, any question?
Any question regarding this session? Any participant? I think no, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay.
Today's I'm on behalf of Padma Shri Dr. Vitthal Vikhe Patil Institute and Pravara family, sir. Thank you, sir, for your informative and knowledgeable session. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Online होतं की